Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. I am so excited. My guest tonight, we're going to be talking about financial freedom and creating wealth. And I am just so honored and privileged to have with me today Mrs. Alicia Stingley. Did I say your last name correctly?
Stingley,
Oh,
yes.
okay, awesome. So how are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am great. I am honored that you're here, and I'm going to take a few minutes to share with our audience a little more about Alicia Stingley, founder of Allen Financial, is a financial advisor and wealth mentor with over 20 years experience in the financial services industry. I had said in my video that it was over 30 years and I'm dating her. So let me back up and say it's been 20 years experience in financial services industry. She is a licensed investment advisor representative, a corporate stock benefit consultant, a certified financial coach, and a certified financial education instructor. She has a mission to empower women to create wealth by investing in passive income streams. Alicia has advised thousands of women and have been through almost every financial situation imaginable herself. She shares with women the strategies that she has personally used to go from bankrupt to having a multi-million dollar portfolio. You're the right person in this show. Alicia obtained her bachelor's degree from Marquette University and went on to obtain an MBA in finance and a master's in human resource management from Keller Graduate School. She recently transferred or relocated to North Charlotte, North Carolina. Alicia loves to travel the world and it loves the world on adventures, attend live sporting events, dance to all types of music. I know that's right. And spend time with close friends and family. She can be reached at aliciastingley.com. And I am putting that in the comments, and it will also be on the screen throughout the course of our show. So, Alicia, I'm having a hard time talking today. What's
That's
wrong with
okay. My
me?
nickname is Lisa.
Is it? Okay, see,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, wow, okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, Alicia, I would like for you to share with our audience more about you and just give us some background information and also tell us how did you come up with this passion to do the work that you do?
Yeah. Let me tell you, a little bit about my story. So, I was born in the Cabrini Green projects in Chicago. And for anybody that's familiar with that, you know what that's like. I literally was born in the same building that Good Times was filmed. And when I was two, my mother decided to move us to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is just, an hour and a half north. And from there, she met a man, she fell in love, and they got married, and I had three other siblings, and we lived a very comfortable life, right? And we we didn't know we were poor because we always had everything we needed. We lived in a duplex. We rented out the upper part, and so in the lower part, All four of us kids stayed in one bedroom. We loved it. We didn't know any better, right? But we still took family trips. We had nice clothes, nice cars, things like that. We just had a loving home. And what was modeled for me was hard work. Like most of us, I wasn't taught much about money. But what I was taught was to work hard. And it was encouraged for me to go to college, right? Because my parents didn't have that. So I was told to go to college, get a good job, get married, have some babies, then retire, and so forth. And so that's what I did, right? I pursued that typical middle class dream from the working class. So, as you mentioned, I went to Marquette University. I got a full scholarship there. It was a beautiful, beautiful time. Right out of college, I got a job in pharmaceutical sales. I got married. I had 4 children, just like my mom. I married a machinist, just like my mom. And yeah, it was just when I see the parallels sometime, right? Um, and we lived a comfortable life, but we got a one family home. We didn't get the duplex, but we lived in a one family home. And I became a stay at home mom, like my mother, until my youngest was in school. And when he got to be around 6 or so, my my husband at the time lost his job. And I was just working part time, but literally overnight, I started working full time. He lost his job on Friday. I started working full time on Monday. Went to my boss and said, "Hey, I need to work full time." And I did. And it was so stressful. And because I wasn't even making as much money as he was making. And we wound up having to be on welfare. There wound up being, the bill collectors, eventually repossession, foreclosure, and divorce. And I found myself then, raising 4 kids on my own. That wasn't part of the plan, right? That wasn't part of the middle class, go to school, work hard, get a good job. That wasn't part of that plan. But that's how my life ended up. And so I found myself, digging out of that hole. I wound up having to file bankruptcy after everything that I was going through, after all the hard work. I had actually gone back to school thinking, more education would advance me. And so I got not one but 2 master's degrees, got not one but 2 jobs, and it still wasn't enough. I still wound up having to file for bankruptcy. And that was like the lowest of the low. And I remember at one point my accounts were even levied. My the government took, the IRS took every penny I had in my savings and my checking account. So here I am, bankrupt, broke, and for the first time in my life, I had to beg people for money. And I went to my dad and my little brother, and they gave me money to be able to feed my kids and be able to pay my bills. And that was a hard recovery time. And then I guess it's still so emotional
Yes.
for me, right? Because I was working hard. I was doing the right stuff, man. I
Right.
was doing it right. And then to make matters worse, if that wasn't enough, a few months later, my youngest son was killed.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I was really, really in a hole. I went for 2 years just going through the motions, just working the 2 jobs. My kids were in different places. I'm alone. And it was just literally go to 2 jobs, come home, and, that's all I did for a few years until I cried out, to God one day, and I said, I can't really go on like this. I need a purpose. I need some more direction. This is not working for me. I don't know what to do. And I heard, as clearly as I'm hearing myself right now, I heard God say to me, it's time for you to take care of you. And he said, I give you permission to live again, because I think I had almost died myself. right? Just with the guilt and everything that I was feeling, and just feeling like I hadn't made it enough. I'm just, not being a good example for my kids, and all of the things, right? And he said, it's time for you to take care of yourself, and I want you to live. And so I took that upon myself to say, I'm going to live the life that my son didn't get a chance to live. So I'm going to live. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to figure out how to do this thing, and I'm going to do it right. And so through a series of fortunate events, I wound up being recruited to be a financial advisor. And so now I just got one job, one good paying job, right? And because I needed a good job to be able to subsidize all of this new living I'm about to do. I'm like, what are we gonna do? Because we got to I need some more money, right? And so I was looking for an HR manager job on LinkedIn, and somebody recruited me and said, hey, we think you'd be a good fit for, to be a financial advisor. But I didn't want to sell products. And so there was no selling of products involved at that time. So it was just a really good fit. And in that role, I traveled around the country and gave group presentations. And then I sat down with people one-on-one. I sat down with everybody from the CEO to the custodian and everybody in between, the nurses, the teachers, the accountants, like everybody, the real estate developers. And I saw a stark difference between their money and their money, right? And I started asking myself, wow, like, why is this? How is this? And I started seeing, obviously, that, these people, but sometimes these people still had a lot of money. And I'm like, how do these custodians or some of these teachers have, like, what is the difference here? And I realized it was just access to information, right? Some people, based on how they grew up, had access to different information. Some people, when they got to be older, they had access to the information. A lot of people of color, a lot of women, and a lot of, marginalized people, lower income, didn't have access to that information. And I found so many women who, for lack of a better word, deferred all of the financial decision making to their partners. And, that was not a good thing, right? Come to find out later, not just divorce, but death sometimes, right? The average age for a widow was 59. So many women thinking, right, they're counting on their partners and so forth. And I found these women 60, just clueless, not even knowing where the insurance stuff is. So no shade to anybody, but if you are deferring to your partner, just ask to be pulled in on some of those decisions, or at least know where stuff is, know what you have.
Yes, and I did a training, and one of the participants was 79 years old. Her husband had just died, and she didn't know. She was clueless.
Yep.
And she was clueless about where things were, he did everything for her,
Yep.
and so what you're saying, I know
Mhm.
what you're talking about.
Right.
So what you do is so important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
important.
It is. Now that you're saying that, it reminds me too of one lady I had talked to. She had to be around 69 maybe, and she was newly widowed, and she has so much debt. And I looked at her stuff and I'm like, you got like $1.8 million in this account from your husband. Like, why are you in debt? And she's like, well, I thought that money, I had to wait and I didn't want to use it. And And I'm like, but you're taking all these loans to like pay for stuff and you're rich. Like, she literally was like, why you got such a low credit score and why you can't get this and that. Yeah, she just She didn't
She didn't.
understand. No, the money
Wow.
is yours to use now. In
Right.
it.
What you right,
Right.
exactly. What are you
This
gonna
is
do with
opposite
it?
problem that a lot of people have.
Give me
Right.
that problem, please.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. And so that's how I really developed my passion to help, that subset of the population, women, women of color, marginalized people. And so I stayed in that job for a few years and I loved it because I got to travel the country. They even sent me to Costa Rica for a month to learn Spanish. It didn't work, but I got to spend a month in Costa Rica. I came back and they were like, "You still don't know how to speak Spanish, Alicia." I'm sorry. That
You
wasn't
know
part
what?
of
I hear you. I took Spanish in college, and I don't know Jack. And the thing is, in the area that we lived in, there were no Spanish speaking people, and
it.
but you were in Costa
I
Rica.
was in Costa Rica. It's something. I'm telling you, dude, this is what I learned though. It was a mind block, and it's similar to the type of mind block that people have with money. I literally have to like I'm so in my head that I have to translate it first in my head, and it just so it doesn't flow. It doesn't flow, and honestly, that's how it is a lot of times with people and their money. You have this mind block, like I have to work so hard for money, right? Or I got to use all this education. And when we think of people like, this is a kind of a switch, but like people like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg, they didn't even finish college, right?
Right.
Like it ain't got nothing to do with going to school. It's
No.
like getting that block out of your mind. Like you gotta have. Now I'm not saying don't go to school, people. I'm not saying that. Not. But I'm saying oftentimes, right? Like I got all these master's degrees and stuff, and honest, and 5 certifications and all these but that's not what taught me how to be wealthy. None of that. Not the MBA in finance, like none of that. Because what's weird is I didn't have to take a course on personal finance. Through all of that, I never had to take a course on how to create passive income. Like that wasn't part of it. It was all of the accounting and I did have to learn the stock market, but not how to make money in the stock market. It's just the weirdest, the
Wow.
weirdest thing even that education, I still didn't get what I needed to get to create wealth. That's kind of sad, isn't it? That's kind of like
Well, where did you get that from? Where did it come from?
where I got it from was seeing all these different people, right? Like seeing the CEO and like, okay, well, he's invested in this, this, and this, but this person, they're invested in this, this, and this. And just asking my mentor, like, does it make sense? Like he's invested in this. And he's like, yeah, that's what they do. That's how they. I'm like, but that's against what I was taught, right? Like you're not supposed to have debt for one, or you're not supposed to be invested just in this, or you're not supposed to. Like, no, that's all like what they teach you. But the
Yeah.
way they really do it, this is how they do it. Like we're taught debt is so bad. Like debt is just the antithesis of everything. But really, wealthy people use debt. They use and they call it leverage, right?
Yes.
They use
Yes.
other people's money. It's like, why am I going to spend my own money when I can
Yes.
use your money to make money and pay you back your money from the money I make off of your money?
I know that's right. And we have someone that chimed in and from Trinidad.
All right.
Yes, and she said you both look very charming. Well, thank
Oh,
you,
thank
Leah. I
you.
appreciate that. And she says, "What a lovely show you're hosting, Vera. I'm happy to be here." Well, I'm happy you're here.
Thank
Please
you, Leah.
share. Please share and tell other people to come on because this is some powerful stuff we're
Yeah.
talking about. And so yeah, I had to interject that because I like to acknowledge when people,
Absolutely.
so let's backtrack and you were saying that the leverage. you
Yeah,
know, that
right. Just learning like all these people that make all these millions in real estate, right? They borrow from, their home to go buy this these other real estate. Then they borrow from the equity there to go get this real estate. But we're taught, right? Like debt is just avoidable at all costs. But now the caveat to that is yes, consumer debt is. If you're going into debt because you want to take a trip, but you really don't have the money, that's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about some type of investment that you're going to get that produces income for you. So if you use debt or leverage for an income producing asset, even people that buy stocks or buy options can buy stocks and options on margin, on credit with debt and pay it back after they make the money. Yes. So that's how they do it. That's the way the wealthy people do it. They use other people's money to make money. You can buy stock without actually owning the stock, sell the stock, and then pay back the stock that you took out the loan on. Yeah, it's all of that. That's how they do it. It's not always having your own money to do it. So I know I got on a little sidetrack there, but yeah, not going into debt for things that you consume, but yes, going into debt for something that's going to produce even a business, right? It's different if you go into debt for a business. Hopefully you'll make some money back from it, but it's a little different if you're going into debt for something that's going to produce more income for you.
So let me ask you. Um, I know I've heard there are basically three or four things that wealthy people focus on.
Mhm.
One being real estate, the other being the arts
Mhm.
and coins and silver and gold. Can you kind of touch on those things? And are those some of the things that you feel are well? And are there some other options out there?
Well,
Yeah.
there are three main areas that people produce wealth in. It's real estate, it's having their own business, and it's assets. It's owning different type of assets, and that's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, crypto, coins, wine. They buy cars, stamps, right? That's all of those collectibles. So
Collectibles,
those
yes.
collectibles. So those are the main ways that people create wealth. And ironically, there are ways to invest in some of those without being wealthy, without having a whole lot of money. Like there are ways to invest in real estate without actually investing in physical property, without being a landlord. And you can do that with less than $200, and they're called REITs. And
How do you spell that?
REIT. It's a it stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. And you can buy those on the stock market and sometimes outside of the stock market. There are ways now to invest in art on a smaller scale and get money from it. There's ways to invest in wineries and get the money from it. So yeah, all of these different passive type of income streams that you don't have to go out and buy a winery. You don't have to go out and buy a strip mall or whatnot. You can invest on a smaller scale and still be investing in real estate. It's kind of cool things like that out there.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
As you're talking, I'm taking note and sharing it in the chat. So invest on a smaller scale in real estate,
Yep.
um,
Wine, art, all that. Yep.
art, and collectibles.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let me ask you, for people, because I know you focus on people that are 50 and over. So for those, and I'll include myself, for those of us who really have not saved for this time, what do you suggest that they do?
Yeah. Yeah. That's hard. And there's so much we can regret and wish we woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Yeah,
right?
shoulda, oughta, hadda.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it is unfortunate that a lot of, you know, the boomers, for example, are living primarily off of Social Security. At this point, I don't want to make it sound like doom and gloom, but
Please don't.
yeah, I mean, you can work longer. You can create your own business, right? That's the type of thing, like I mentioned, the real estate, the stocks, and having your own business. So whatever you invest in the stock market typically is going to double in 10 years. So if you don't have a whole lot of time, I mean, if you're in your 60s, people live until 80s and 90s, so you still have time to get in there and do some of that, right? So maybe you work part-time or you do a side consulting type of thing, and you take that money, and part of it, maybe you need to live off of, but the other part you invest in some of these things we're talking about. I mean, a lot of REITs are doing 10, 12, 20% return. So that's kind of what you have to do. You kind of have to think out the box a little bit, and you might need to get someone to help you with thinking outside the box, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So you might not have known about any of this stuff that I'm talking about. Right?
Exactly. So if you are 50 and over and you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what to do, please get in touch with Alicia. Alicia at aliciastingley.com. Check her out. Now, I put the information in the comments, but I'm going to put it in there again so that it's scrolling as we speak. And so let me ask you, what would you say to younger people who have yet to understand the value of saving?
Man, if I could go back, if I could just shake some of these 30, 20, my 30-year-old. Well, I didn't have much of a choice, right? But I mean, I did start saving out of my first job in pharmaceutical sales. I did start saving, and that helped us because I was the type, like I said, I followed the rules. I was like, oh, this 401k thing. Oh, okay. How much? Oh, a bit. Once we, had to cash everything we owned out, I had that a little bit. But I just wish, man, honestly, if you are like in your 20s, 30s, if you put aside $100 or $150 every month and you do not touch that money, you will have $1 million, more than $1 million when you're 60, 65. You will have more options. And you may not think it's much, even if you can do $50 a month. Start now. If wherever you work, when you get out of college, please, please, please invest in that 401k. And I always recommend that people invest outside of your 401k, like in the stock market or real estate or something else, because you don't want all of your money, all of your retirement money tied up in a 401k. Or even an IRA, because they have limits on your money. You can't touch it till you're 59 and a half. It's your money, but they tell you can't touch it without a penalty until you're 59 and a half. So you want it, right? And so that's why so many people are like borrowing against their 401k, because they don't put all their money in the 401k, right? So you still want to have a savings account, obviously, and you still want to have some money that's invested outside and tap into before you're 59 and a half. So just start. And start with your company retirement plan. Just start.
And with that, we're going to take a break, and I have a couple commercials I need to play.
Let me introduce you to ChatBridge. It's a revolutionary new solution for getting great results from your online networking. Today, online networking has become the standard for millions of professionals. However, getting results from your meetings can be a daunting task. But now that challenge has been solved. Everyone knows how hard virtual meeting follow-up is. You go to an online meeting where at the end, people say save the chat to follow up. And now you have a nearly unusable and ugly chat text file to work with. You can now say goodbye to the hassles of downloaded Zoom-type chat records. For the first time, with the introduction of this new chat bridge tool, you have a simple system to easily import, search, review, follow up, and find opportunities with the people you meet in all of your virtual networking meetings. And we also made it easy to archive all of your chat files and information on the people you met networking for future use. And it doesn't stop there. With ChatBridge, when you select people to follow up with, you can view their exact posts and even click into their website, LinkedIn profile, or Facebook page if they shared it. Then you can import your selected contacts into the powerful EngagePro system, or export your contacts to your CRM, email tool, or autoresponder. Following up and getting great results from online networking is now easy and just a click away. Experience the power of the new ChatBridge, and you'll quickly see how to find new clients, get more referrals, speaking opportunities, and JV partners. There's nothing like it. Find out now how economical and easy it is to get the results you want from online networking at chatbridgeconnect.com.
Let me tell you, if you go to a lot of networking meetings and you save the chat and you put it in a Zoom folder, when you open it, you got a lot of unorganized, confusing stuff. With ChatBridge, one click and your chats are organized alphabetically with the links, the phone numbers, and the conversation all in different columns. You want to check out ChatBridge if you go to a lot of meetings and you want to stay in touch with people that you have met. I have put in the chat a free test run of ChatBridge. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. I'll be right back.
Hallelujah.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today, and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
No more 9 to 5. Let me tell you, this is an all-in-one kind of networking platform. It is where you get trainings, masterminds on a lot of different topics. You network with other entrepreneurs and people that are doing things. And you're supporting veterans when you do so. And so you can join today for $1.11. And that $1.11 goes towards the nonprofit entity to help support veterans. So you want to check out No More 9 to 5. Even if you do have a 9 to 5, you want to check it out because you will meet people, you will gain knowledge, and you may decide maybe I don't want to no more. No, maybe I do want to be a No More 9 to 5er and look at other ways of generating income. That's what you're going to find in this networking group. So I strongly encourage you to check out No More 9 to 5. I put the link in the chat. So check it out and tell them Vera sent you. All right. I have a few more, but we're going to talk some more before I share any more. So, okay. And then we got some messages coming in. Okay, she says this is exceptional. Thank you very much. She says I'm on board. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. And so let me ask you, what would you say? But I want to back up and talk a little bit about um, some of your experiences, and I'm asking these questions to kind of maybe help some parents along the way. With you needing to have to work, and you had 4 kids, how did you manage? And tell me, what impact did that have?
Yeah, I worked a lot. I still kind of work a lot. I think that's just been part of, like I said, that's what I grew
That's
up
how you were
doing. That's
raised.
what I grew
Yes.
up knowing to do. I mean, I was a kid. I had the lemonade stand. I sold the most Girl Scout cookies. Like every year I was a Girl Scout. I did hair through high school and college. That's how I made money. I've always had this entrepreneurial thing going on. And, one summer I worked 2 full-time jobs. People were like, how you do that? I would work one, sleep an hour, and one was Monday through Friday, the other one was Thursday through Saturday. And so, anyway, I've always just been used to doing that. And so when I wound up having the 4 kids I had to take care of, I did the same thing. I worked one job was 10 hours, 4 days a week. And the other one was 3 days, 2 days a week, 20 hours, 10 hours, whatever. It's like I always just kind of, I did that. And then I wound up going to college to be able to take out loans to help them go to college, right? So my college money helped. I mean, I just did what I had to do. Honestly, I mean, I sold my plasma at one time. I've just always been of the mind, short of selling my behind and selling drugs, I was gonna make some money,
I
right?
know that's right.
I'm just keeping it real, right? And sometimes I thought about, never mind.
Now now you got me curious. What were you
Well,
going to say?
well, sort of selling my, drugs or selling my mind, but I was like, I couldn't shake it.
Because you love to
Sorry.
dance,
It's a
right?
Christian show. I love to dance. Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? But then I could just see somebody from the
From the
church or
church,
somebody
yeah.
down the street.
Guess what she's doing now?
Then I don't know if they had. I don't think they had OnlyFans back then. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't take these as suggestions. But
No.
anyway, I mean, because back then, this was like 20 years ago. I wish I had known about all this stuff people do online, right? Or I didn't know about options, like how you literally can invest a couple of hundred and make 1,000 in a day. Like I didn't know any of that. I didn't know about like, digital products you can sell or creating a course or any of those things, right? Everything I did required me to be out of my house, away from my children 60, 70 hours a week. And so I was blessed that, like my oldest son, I bought a car and I'm like, you're going to have to drive your brother to football, your sister to work, your other sister to cheerlead, whatever. You're going to have to do that because, youth group, whatever. You are the chauffeur. You're the family chauffeur because mama can't be there. And he was so responsible and so respectful and so, and then my daughter too, right? Once he went to college, then the next daughter is like, okay, he's gone. Now it's your turn. You're going to do the shopping and and I did have to put more on them, which again is unfair, but they understood the assignment. They understood the situation, right?
But not only that, you taught them responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You, even though you may not have been there as often as you wanted to, they wouldn't be the children that they were if you didn't instill some other things in them. Because in many cases, most parents who are working as much as you worked, they've got kids that are just off the chain,
Yeah.
and they may well be considered neglectful parents. But see, in your case, even though if someone says she's working 60 hours and she's neglecting her kids, that was not the case with you,
Yeah. No.
because you taught them. And so
Yeah.
parents, even if you are out of necessity pulling
Mhm.
in all kinds of hours, that does not mean that you still can't be
Right.
a parent teaching your children responsibility.
Right. And
That
I
is,
mean, that's right. And that's important. And I'm sorry, but I made sure every night, like I looked at, that they do their homework. They have stuff online you can check. And it's like, okay, you stay up till you do this. You ain't going out the house on the weekend unless you do this. Everybody chores had to be done before you could do, whatever. Everybody had a day to cook. Everybody had a thing to clean. So yeah, I tried to still, do all of that. But what I missed, and so I missed a lot of things, and we've had to have some real honest conversations about it, because what I've learned from being a parent is that no matter how hard you try, you always gonna miss something, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
ain't no, I got A's in school because I could look in the book, I could study the book, and I knew I was gonna get an A on that test because I studied, right? We ain't got nothing like that for parenthood. I show, you know what I'm saying? You take this class, you study this test, and you pass. It don't work like that, right?
no,
Sometimes I think even with my best efforts, I got like a C minus, on some things because I didn't teach them a lot. I did, like, just to be honest, like sex ed. Okay, they got that at school. Okay, check. It was like I don't have to have them conversations. And then they got a daddy. The daddy can handle some of that stuff, right? I didn't teach them a lot. I didn't teach them about money, and so yeah, those are some things. Again, I'm coming back to. I taught them how to clean and how to cook and stuff like that. But yeah, there are some things I missed. But I've been humble enough, and I know this is getting off the track of money, but I've just been humble enough to say, yeah, I messed up. I messed up some things, but I did the best I could with what I had at the time. And y'all got to give me
right,
some credibility for that, right? I tried to hold it down. I tried to
yes,
hold everybody together, and I did the
yes,
best I could with what I had. And I've learned
exactly,
to give me
exactly.
some grace, right? So give me some
You
grace.
you got some grace, girl. You got some good.
Grace.
Not there is no such thing as a perfect
That's right.
parent. There is no such thing as a perfect parent.
Right.
And acknowledging the things you did well,
Yeah.
because a lot of times parents beat themselves up, about things they
Yeah.
didn't do without focusing in on
Yeah.
the things they did do
Mhm.
that made a difference in their child's life. And it also sounds like to me, and we're going to get back on the money thing, but this is
Yeah.
also important because
Yeah.
parenting is so important. And so no matter who comes on my show and what they're talking about, that's something that I feel is important to talk about as well.
It is.
And so it sounds like, even though you feel that there were some things that you missed, it sounds like you have such a relationship with your kids that you were able to even discuss those things with them.
Hmm. Yeah, and it hasn't been without some yelling and some tears, but yeah, we've had some real conversations, and we continue to have those conversations because my two daughters live with me.
Okay.
And yeah, and so, but the beautiful thing is they're seeing some things, like after years, they're like, Mom, Ma, we appreciate you did this, and we don't know how you went through that, and how you put up with this, and but then on the other hand, it's like, how you put up with that for 25. So,
You're right.
well, it was for y'all, okay?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
right, but it's like, and just to see sometimes when they are really appreciative, and and can express that I've been an inspiration, and things like that. And especially when, like, when my son was killed, it just put everybody on a different trajectory. Everybody was just kind of going through their own thing, and it's been important to me. And because I'm able to do so financially, I circle the wagons, right? That's why they're here. And that's why when we go on vacation, I fund everybody, including my ex-husband, including my mama. Like, I want everybody there because we're still family. And I
That
want, it's so important to me that those of us that are here and remain, that we remain close.
that is beautiful. And I have to, and then we're going back to finances, I promise. But you said that your ex-husband is even included. So your kids have a great relationship with their dad, even though you guys divorced.
Mhm. Yeah, the beautiful thing, even when we separated and divorced, he still could come and see his kids whenever he wanted to. I never changed the locks. I never took the key. I would come home. He'd be sitting there. They'd be watching TV. They'd be eating pizza. I'd be like, and I would go to my room. you know. So I made sure that that was maintained. In my son's latter years, he went to live with his dad. As a teenage boy, that was
A good
kind
thing,
of
yes.
important, right? Yeah, it was a good thing because that was a good thing. Um,
Need not say anymore.
right,
I
right,
have
yeah,
I
I love, yeah, okay,
I have a son, so that I'm
yeah,
living with right now, as a matter of fact. But
yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good thing. But yeah, they have a good relationship, with their dad. And yeah, we do family Zooms, like I said, we do, family vacations. I Thanksgiving I went to Milwaukee. I stayed with him with the kids. He moved my daughter here, he stayed here. We go to Texas or Orlando or Nashville or Boston. We stay together. I'm
That's
like, I'm
awesome.
all right. I'm like, I'm getting an Airbnb. You come in, you want a room? That's how we
That's
do it, right?
beautiful.
That's how we
That is
do it.
beautiful. Now, Leah, she said such an inspiring story to do whatever it takes. Yes.
Yeah.
As
Hmm.
parents, as single mothers, we do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Absolutely. And for those parents out there and you just kind of are confused or you want somebody to talk to me.
Yeah.
You can schedule a time to come and talk to me. I'm going to put that in the chat for you. So now back to our financial situation, and I still have some commercials to play, but I took that detour because it was so important, because I want parents to understand everything about finances, being a parent, and all those other kinds of things.
Yeah.
And we have another comment. She says, such a blessing. The celebration of life mean putting definitely some no's in place. Absolutely.
Right.
We have to have boundaries no
Yep.
matter what. You in relationships, in with our children, we have to
Hmm.
have boundaries.
Yep.
Speaking there, okay. There's a commercial and it's an event that's coming up regarding relationships. And I just feel like this is the perfect time for me to share this with you right now. It's a free relationship building workshop for husbands and wives, or for couples, period. Couples, and or if you're contemplating becoming a couple, you want to check out this event. So let me play this video right
Hi,
quick.
everybody. Janelle here, your relationship coach and marriage expert. Today, I want to talk about what does it take to shift a marriage from roommates to playmates. It can be really difficult when you're busy trying to be everything to everyone and work and your own stuff. It's so easy to neglect your relationship. And next thing you know, you turn around and you've lost that connection that you once had, and you miss that, and you want to know how to get that back. This month is the month of love, and I encourage you to take this opportunity to see what that looks like. I am offering a free workshop on February 15th on how to rekindle the romance and intimacy in your relationship. And when you can do that, when you have the connection, all that becomes a new possibility. So I'm going to be walking you through step by step on how to do this. We'll be talking about love languages, how to know yours, how to communicate yours to your partner, and how to determine what your partner's is, even if when they don't know what that is. Because at the end of the day, we all want to feel loved. We all want to feel appreciated. We all want to be seen. And there's stuff that's in the way, our ego, our fears, our pride. But none of that will get us to a place of love and joy and connection and appreciation and everything that love is really all about. Because Valentine's Day is not about the cheesy flowers, the card, the expensive dinner that gives you crappy service. This is about love, appreciation, acknowledging and saying, hey, I see you. I love you. I want this to work. I'm willing to commit.
All right. Well, let me tell you, that workshop that she did in February was so successful that she's doing it again on April 11th, next Thursday. I put the information in the comments, so register and tell her you heard it on the Vera Thomas show. You want to register for this if you are in a relationship, if you are contemplating a relationship, then you want to come to this free workshop next Thursday. Check out the link. All right. All right. Now, back to you. Tell us, give us, I'm going to give you the floor again, and I'm going to let you tell us what we need to know. And as you're talking, I am going to be putting some of those nuggets in the chat.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, the key to financial freedom, financial independence is creating passive income streams. Warren Buffett said it best. He said something to the effect that, and it's not an exact quote, but if you don't learn how to make money, you sleep, you until you die. That is not what anybody wants to do. That's nobody's dream life, right? So you have to learn how to create income streams. And there are four main ways to do that. The one is I suggest to people is you become a creator. So you either buy or create a product you can sell. A product or a service, right? Or you sell somebody else's products or services that you can make income from while you sleep. The other is becoming an owner. And as we talked about, real estate or a business, there are some that are more passive than others, right? I think of rental income as being, you still have to do some work there, right? But it's passive kind of once you set it up. And there are certain businesses that you can get passive income from once you set them up. Then there's investment income. So instead of you can put money in a savings account, right? You're going to get interest there, but you're not going to get as much interest as you would if that money was invested for you. If a money is just in a savings account, for example, you're not going to earn enough interest to outpace inflation. And so over time, your money is going to lose what's called purchasing power. So you want to have your money invested in something that's going to beat inflation. So again, that's the stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, REITs, and things of that nature.
Yes, I want to ask a question about investments because a
Mhm.
lot of people shy away from even the thought of investing because they think, oh man, I got to put in thousands and thousands of dollars. So, can you kind of share? Are you aware, or can you give some examples of some things that a person can invest in? We kind of talked about some of that stuff earlier, but if we can repeat it
Mhm.
for our listeners, that would be great.
Right. Yeah. So you can start investing in the stock market with $10, $20. And if you're, I recommend you start with an account, uh, a platform called Robinhood. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it. I also like ones called Charles Schwab or Fidelity or E-Trade. But I think to start out, Robinhood, it's a very simple interface. You actually can start with $1. Now, you're not going to get much with $1, but they do say you can start with $1. And if you're going to get started, just start with an index ETF fund. That's the easiest thing to invest in. Or if you want to put some money in something like Apple or Verizon or Microsoft or Google, right? One of those companies, Walmart, one of those big companies that you know aren't going anywhere and you know you're going to get some money, you're going to see some growth from over the long term. So an index ETF fund, which can be the total stock market, the U.S. stock market, so the S&P 500, that's one you can start with, right? So, and then Robinhood is very simple. It's not, and you can set it up. What I recommend is you set it up to take it out every month on the same day of the month. So again, that's paying yourself first, and that's putting some money aside for investing. And you also obviously put a little bit of money aside for savings. So that's what I would recommend. So yeah, passive income, royalties. So on things you create, books or music or courses, and then investments, and then owning real estate or a business.
Okay, okay. Um, this is great stuff. And I had a thought and I had a senior moment and I forgot it.
Yeah.
So, all right. There was one thing that you said. Oh, regarding savings.
Mhm.
People don't, I mean, and you said if you are in your 20s or 30s, just setting aside $50 a month. That's what? About $10, even less than $10 a week?
Right.
Set it aside. And
Mhm.
I know with Rich Dad Poor Dad, he always emphasizes, you know, giving back to yourself first.
Yep.
Giving back to yourself first when you get that paycheck.
Yep.
Put that money aside, 10%, just like
Yep.
and if you pay tithes, 10% there, 10% that, and and prosper and
That's right.
succeed.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what I recommend. I recommend 10% giving, 20% is your goal. So that's savings, investing, or debt. So that shows you how, if you got a lot of debt, that's taken from your savings and your investing. And then 30% is are your needs. Yeah, I'm sorry, your wants. And then 40% is your needs. That's a good basic way to kind of round out your finances.
Yes, and we are about to close shop
Mhm.
here. But what I want to say to all of you, thank you so much for joining us today. And please share this video with people that you know. And if you are interested in having a conversation with Alicia, her information is on the screen. if you are interested in scheduling some time to talk to me, if you are a parent, or and you even your children, I work with parents and their children, and I also work with individuals to kind of look at some of those things that we've grown up with that's impacting on our parenting and is impacting on our lives.
Mhm.
So you can schedule a time to meet with me, and I've put that in the chat as well. I had a lot more commercials that I needed to share, but this was more important. This was just as important. Let me say that. There is a event coming up in New York in June. It's called Trauma Talk. And so, if you've been through trauma in your life and you want to share your trauma experience, then you want to check out Trauma Talk in New York City. And the venue is on Broadway. Yes,
Mhm.
on Broadway. So let me put that link in the chat and you can check it out for yourself. And that event again is in June. And then my other commercial, Mama Knows products. Let me tell you, these products are awesome and they will make a difference in your hair. And it's for all ethnicities. Shampoos, conditioners, hair serums, moisturizers. You want to check out Mama Knows products. And and I'm putting, oh my God, that's what happens when you live with other people, you know? Oh my goodness. Anyway, that was my son. He's gonna have to come on here one day. But anyway, I put note your trauma talk in the link, and I've also put Mama Knows products. So listen, we've ran out of time. I want to thank you all again. And Alicia, thank you so much. You gave us so much valuable information. And thank you. And you're going to have to come back again and we can continue talking and helping people find financial freedom and show them ways to create wealth. Do you
Yes.
have any final words that you want to say?
I just want to say, wherever you are, don't give up. If you're still breathing, you still have time to make your dreams come true.
Amen, amen, amen. With that, I say to you, good night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you on Thursday. And hold on.
The Vera